Hey guys, it's Corinne here from itssocorinne.com, and for today's tutorial we will be making this super cute crochet elf ornament. Now before we begin the video, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the It's So Corinne YouTube channel so you get alerts when I make new videos just like this. And if you would like to see step-by-step instructions with pictures and snag the free written instructions, be sure to visit me at my blog at itssocorinne.com. Now, to begin the elf, we need to gather our supplies. The first thing that we need is cotton yarn, and you are going to need this in green, black, and yellow. Now the cotton yarn is a weight category 4, and the brands that I am using for this particular project are Peaches and Cream and the Hobby Lobby in-house cotton yarn brand. Next, you will need a size D crochet hook, which is a 3.25 millimeter hook. And then you are going to need a yarn needle. You just need a regular plain Jane yarn needle because we do not need a bit tip because we are not sewing parts together. And then you will need a stitch marker because we will be working in the round, so you will need to mark each stitch of the round. And then lastly, you will need some sort of fiber fill. You can use the insides of a pillow like I do, or you can buy polyfill, but some type of filling for your elf Christmas ornament. And once you have gathered your supplies, we are ready to begin. For round 1, we will be inserting 6 single crochets into a magic ring. That's 1, 2, uh-oh, my yarn did something wonky. Oops. 3, 4, 5, 6. And then what you want to do is you want to pull on the tail of the magic ring. Get undone. Okay. And for smaller projects like this, I do not like to close the ring all the way. I just like to get it close because I feel like it makes it too tight for the next round, so I don't completely close my magic ring until round 2. So after round 1, you will have 6 single crochet. So for round 2, we are going to insert an increase into each stitch of the previous round. At the end of round 2, you will have 12 stitches. And this is the time that I like to pull the tail of my magic ring so I can close up the center hole of my project, which I probably need to pull a little bit more. And it just makes it easier for round 2 if it isn't so tight. So once you have finished round 2, we can move on to round 3. And for round 3, we will continue our increasing. So what we are going to do is add a single crochet into the first stitch, and then we are going to add a increase into the next stitch. And then we are going to follow that pattern all the way around. We're going to do a single crochet and then an increase all the way around. At the end of round 3, you will have 18 stitches. For round 4, we are going to add a single crochet into the first 2 stitches of the round. So that's 1, and that is 2, and then we're going to add an increase. And then we will continue that all the way around. We will add a single, and then an increase. At the end of round 4, you will have 24 stitches. For round 5, we will be inserting a single crochet into the first 3 stitches of the round. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then an increase. And then we're going to continue that all the way around. A single crochet into the next 3 stitches, and then an increase. At the end of round 5, you will have 30 stitches. For rounds 6 and 7, you are going to single crochet into each stitch of the previous round. So you will have 30 stitches for round 6 and then 30 stitches for round 7. Once you get to the last stitch of round 7, you want to do your color change. So all you're going to do is insert, yarn over with the green, and then pull your strand of yellow over, and then you're going to hook it and go through your loops. Ooh, that's a little too far. So you're going to pull that back. And then you're going to pull on the green and yellow tails to tighten up your loops right here. And then for round 8, the first stitch of round 8 is a slip stitch. And this is so that way to try to make the color change not noticeable. It is noticeable, but it's less noticeable with a slip stitch. So we are going to count that as our first stitch of round 8. Now, every other stitch in round 8 is a single crochet, except for the first one. So what we're going to do is just single crochet around. And what you want to do is hold the yellow and the green tails down on top of your stitches and then stitch under them. So that way you can pin them down with your stitches. And then once you get to about 3 or 4 stitches, you can cut the green and continue your single crocheting around all the way around for round 8. At the end of round 8, you will have 30 stitches. For round 9, you are going to single crochet into every stitch from the previous round. And you are going to treat this first stitch, which is a slip stitch from round 8, as a regular stitch. We're just going to insert our single crochet into that slip stitch, and then we're going to add a single crochet to every stitch of the previous round. When you get to the last stitch of round 9, you want to change back to green. So to do that, you're just going to yarn over through the stitch. You have 2 loops on your hook, and then you're going to pull the green through the stitch. Oops, that was really, really short, so we're going to pull that. And then we are going to pull those tight. And then for round 10, we are going to slip stitch into the first stitch of the round. Get those tails out of my way. Okay, so that is the first stitch of round 10. And then every other stitch for round 10 is a single crochet. And just like before, you want to hold the tails of your 2 colors down and go underneath them as you crochet your single crochets, at least for 2 or 3 stitches, and then you can cut the previous color and get that out of the way because it's gonna get all tangled with my green. And then just pull those tails out of the way and just continue single crocheting into every stitch. At the end of round 10, you will have 30 stitches. And for round 11, you're going to treat that slip stitch that we made in round 10 as a regular stitch. You're going to insert your first single crochet into that stitch. And then you're going to single crochet into each stitch of the previous round. At the end of round 11, you will have 30 stitches. For round 12, we are going to start our decreasing. So you are going to insert a single crochet into the first 3 stitches. That's my first, 2, and 3. And then you are going to do an invisible decrease, which an invisible decrease is you go into the front loop of the first stitch, the front loop of the second stitch, yarn over, pull through. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through. And you're going to repeat that. You're going to do 3 single crochets, a single crochet into the next 3 stitches and then a invisible decrease. You're going to repeat that all the way around. At the end of round 12, you will have 24 stitches. For round 13, we are going to insert a single crochet into the first 2 stitches of the round. Oops. That's 1, 2, and then we're going to do an invisible decrease. And we are going to repeat that all the way around. A single, single, then a decrease. At the end of round 13, you will have 18 stitches. For round 14, we are going to insert a single crochet and then a invisible decrease. And we are going to repeat this all the way around. You're gonna do a single crochet and then an invisible decrease. At the end of round 14, you will have 12 stitches. Round 14, after you have finished the stitches, is the round that you want to stuff your elf. And I like to use the end of my other crochet hook. This end is the perfect size to go into my amigurumi projects, so I use that. And what's nice about the ornament is it doesn't really matter about stuffiness so much as like an amigurumi that you're trying to sit on a shelf. Like you have to be very particular how they're stuffed, but this is going to be hanging on a tree, so it doesn't really matter how stuffed you stuff it. So you just want to keep adding stuffing until it is the stuffiness that you like. So we're going to, and of course right now it looks a little wonky round wise, but once it's stuffed you can play with it and make it more rounds. Okay, and then once you have it to the fullness you desire, we can move on to round 15, which is the last round of the ball. Yay, we're almost finished. And all you're going to do for round 15 is you're going to do an invisible decrease into each stitch. So we're going to do that, and I'm trying to hold the stuffing back with my finger so it doesn't get caught into my stitches. Always though, inevitably I have fiber fill coming out in my stitches in the end. So I just have to clean that up. So you just repeat the process all the way around for round 15. At the end of round 15, you will have 6 stitches. So all that is left to do to close him up is to cut a little bit of a tail and then pull that through. And we're going to take out the stitch marker because we don't need that anymore. And then we are going to thread our yarn needle. And then you are going to run your yarn underneath either the front loop or the back loop, or the front loop, I'm sorry, front loop or both loops of the 6 stitches from the last round. I run it through the front. I think it's a personal preference. And I just keep playing with it and pulling it and see how it pulls and gets flatter, and then I go through the center and then I pull it out through the center and you pull it out the side. I just squish it so that way it looks flat. See how flat that looks? And then I just tie a little knot in my yarn here, and then I go back through the same hole I came out of, go to the other side, and you heard the knot, it popped in. And you just want to pull this tight while you cut it, and you can play with it like that, and it pops back in, and then the elf ball is complete. All we need to do is make its little belt buckle and add a hanger, and then this bad boy will be ready to go on your Christmas tree. To make the elf's belt buckle, you will cut a piece of black yarn, make it pretty long, and then we're going to put a knot in the end, and we're going to load up our yarn needle with the black yarn, and then you want to find the front. This obviously is the back where the color changes, so I like to go through my back and then come out my front, where I think is my front. We're just gonna say like right here. Doesn't have to be exactly the front, like exactly opposite. I just put roundabout. Okay, and you want to pull it through. You want that knot to pop through, but you don't want to pull it all the way out on the front, because if you do, the knot's gonna pop out the front. So you just want to pull it. So, and then I was just at the bottom of the yellow line, and then we're just going to go right at the top, and then we're going to, I'm going to try and not catch my batting as, or my stuffing as I do this. We're going to go over 2 stitches, and we're going to pull this through, and essentially we are back stitching. We are going through this one, and then we're going to come out this bottom one right here. I don't know if you can tell, right there, which is even with this side. We're going to pull that. Okay, and I'm going to flip the ball, and then we're going to go back through that. We're going to come across to the corner over here, and then we're going to go through this one, and I'm going to come back up here where I started. And the reason why I do this is because I like to do it twice, and I like to play with the yarn as I'm doing it, so I make it more square. So we're going to go back through here, and essentially the yarn is just going beside the last yarn you put there, kind of bulk it up a little bit. And go through this one. Okay, and this is my last one. So I'm going to come through this side over here. Oh, and I think that looks super cute. Super, super cute. And I just play with it to make it be more square. Oh my gosh, that is too cute, guys. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier. I'm going to tie this knot like that, and I'm going to go back through the same exact hole and come out somewhere else. And then we don't need the needle. And then we're going to, yeah, pop in the knot and then cut that and then work it, and so it pops back in. And if it doesn't, you can just always take your needle and shove in the end. And then the last step that you need to do to make him hang on the tree is cut about I think it's like 3 or 4 inches of green yarn. And we're going to make a hanger for him. So, I mean, you don't have to use green yarn. You could use any color you wanted, or even ribbon. I'm not sure how well ribbon would go through the top of him, but I know that the yarn works really well. So what we're going to do is we are going to go through the top part of him, through 2 of these stitches right at the top. Oops, sorry. Right here, which I'm not sure if that feels like it's center or not. This may feel more center. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, so we are going to go through here with our yarn, and you want to pull it through, but you want to make sure you don't lose this tail. So you want to hold it as you pull the needle off. And see, we have both of our ends at the top. So what you want to do is just tie a knot through your yarn. And you want to pull the knot pretty tight because you want it as small as possible, because we are about to pop that through one of the stitches. And if it's too bulky, it gets a little hard to do. Now, get out of the way. Now all you want to do is pull it down here and pop it through the stitch. Now, I've had trouble with this because the knot is a little bigger than the other knots because it has 2. So I just take my needle and gently try to force it inside as I'm pulling. Let's see how hard this is gonna be. Well, doesn't want to go in. This is why I say to make the smallest knot as possible. Oh, look, I think I'm almost in. Okay, and if you are using your needle to shove it in, you want to make sure that you're not destroying the knot. Like, you just want to gently prod it in because you don't want to undo the knot. Otherwise, when you hang it up, it's going to come undone. So, once you get your knot inside of the elf ball, this guy is ready to be given or put onto a Christmas tree. He is super, super cute. And you could also add him, if you made the Santa ball in the other video, you could add him to the tree with that, or keep him alone. He can be super cute all by himself. So if you like this video, Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the It's So Corny YouTube channel. And be sure to come visit me at my blog at itssocorny.com. So until next time, go make something amazing.